The syringe was already in his hand when the stranger walked in. Daniel had it all planned out. Enough morphine to make it painless. Enough to make sure he wouldn't wake up. He'd locked the supply room door, turned off his pager, written a note, and left it in his locker. This was it. The end. No more guilt. No more faces in his dreams. No more blood on his hands. Then the door opened. Rooms occupied. Daniel said, not turning around. His voice came out steadier than he expected.
Yeah, I can see that. The voice belonged to a janitor, old guy, maybe 65, pushing a cart full of cleaning supplies. He looked at Daniel, looked at the syringe, looked at Daniel's hospital, badge still clipped to his coat. You gonna do what I think you're gonna do.
Daniel's hand tightened around the syringe. You need to leave. Now. Can't do that, Doc. I'm not asking.
The janitor wheeled his cart inside and closed the door behind him. Neither am I. Name's Frank. Been cleaning these floors for 23 years. And in those 23 years, I've walked in on this exact situation 4 times. 3 of them, I left. Figured it wasn't my business. Figured they were grown adults who could make their own choices. Smart man. So leave. Can't, because all 3 of those doctors are dead. And I gotta live with that. So you're number 4. And I'm not walking away this time. Frank leaned against his cart, casual as if they were discussing the weather. So here's what's gonna happen. You're gonna tell me why, and I'm gonna listen. Then you're gonna put that needle down, or you're gonna have to stick me with it too, because I'm not leaving. You don't understand. Then make me understand.
Daniel's hand was shaking now. The syringe trembled. I killed someone. Today. On the operating table, a 32-year-old father of 2. My hands were shaking during the surgery. I didn't even realize until it was too late. He bled out. Just gone. Because I couldn't keep my hands steady. Frank nodded slowly. And now you figure if you're gone, you can't kill anyone else. Exactly. Okay, I get that logic. I do. But let me ask you something. How many surgeries have you done? What does that matter? Humor me. Daniel exhaled, exhausted. I don't know. Thousands. Maybe 5,000. Over 15 years. And how many patients died? Before today, 17, but those were complications, high-risk cases, things beyond. So out of 5,000 people, you've lost 18, which means you've saved. Frank paused, doing the math. 4,982 lives. That about right. It doesn't work like that. Why not? You're counting the deaths. Why aren't you counting the lives? Frank pushed off from his cart and took a step closer. My daughter was one of them, by the way. 4 years ago. Emergency appendectomy. Burst on the operating table. You probably don't even remember her. Sarah Michel, 14 years old. Daniel's mind raced back. He did remember. Middle of the night, girl came in septic. Minutes away from death. The surgery had been touch and go. She lived, Daniel whispered. She lived. Graduated high school last month. Wants to be a nurse now because of you. Frank's voice cracked slightly. So yeah, Doc, you killed someone today. I'm sorry about that. Primera rea. Lai am. But if you do this, if you check out right now, how many Sarah Mitchells don't get to graduate? How many fathers get to go home because you're there to save them? What if my hands shake again? What if I kill someone else? Then you figure out why they're shaking. You get help. You take a break. You do whatever it takes to make sure they don't. But you don't get to quit. Not when you've got 4,982 reasons to keep going. Daniel looked at the syringe, at his shaking hand, at this stranger who had no reason to care whether he lived or died. I don't know if I can do this. Yeah, you do. You're just scared. And that's okay. Being scared means you still give a damn. It's when you stop being scared that you become dangerous. Frank held out his hand. Give me the needle, Doc. Let's get you some help. For a long moment, Daniel didn't move. Everything in him wanted to finish what he'd started, to escape the guilt, the fear, the weight of that man's death. But he thought about Sarah Mitchell, about the 4,982 others, about the ones still waiting. He handed Frank the syringe. Frank took he'd locked it in his cart and pulled out his phone. I'm calling the psychiatrist on duty. Dr. Chun. She's good. She'll help you through this. Why are you doing this? You don't even know me. Frank smiled sadly. Because one of those 3 doctors I walked away from. That was my brother, 15 years ago. Found him in a supply room, just like this one. I knew something was wrong that day. Saw him go in, heard the lock click, and I walked away, told myself it wasn't my business. He paused. I found him 2 hours later, so yeah, I know you, and I'm not walking away again. 3 months later, Daniel stood in the OR again. First surgery since the incident. His hands trembled as he scrubbed in. But when he made the first incision, tasted it, he saved that patient. Then the next one, then the one after that. He still saw the man's face sometimes, still heard the flat line in his dreams, but he also saw Frank, standing in that supply room, refusing to leave, refusing to let him become another statistic. 2 years later, Daniel was cleaning out his locker when he found Frank pushing his cart down the hallway. Frank. Hey. Frank turned, squinting. Do I know you, Doc? Yeah. You saved my life. 2 years ago, in the supply room. Recognition dawned on Frank's face. Oh, yeah. How you doing? I'm good. Really good. I wanted to thank you. I never properly thanked you. Frank shrugged. Just doing my job. Your job is cleaning floors. No, Doc? My job is making sure people get home safe. Sometimes that means mopping up spills. Sometimes it means talking someone off a ledge. Frank smiled. Besides, Sarah asks about you sometimes. Wants to know if you're okay. Tell her I am, and tell her I think about her every time I walk into another. Will do. They went their separate ways. Frank back to his cart. Daniel back to his locker. Both of them still here, still showing up, still saving lives in their own way. That's what matters. Not the big moments or the dramatic rescues. Just the stranger who refuses to walk away, who sees you at your worst and decides you're worth saving anyway. Sometimes that changes everything.